welcome to the Natural View. I'm Maggie Jacqua. I'm the content director of Whole Foods Magazine, and I'm here with my co-host Todd Pollitt of 24 Stories Marketing. Hi, Todd.
Hey, Maggie. Hey, I'm on a mission to show you every hotel room in the nation. So here I am again at a nice, cheap art kind of a situation here. I'm just, I like to pop up and surprise people.
You might have to do a compilation of all your hotel backgrounds and write them.
Yeah, perfect. I'm sure that everyone will be interested in something like that.
All
right. Well, hey, we've got a special guest, so let's talk about it.
We are excited to welcome back Greg. Greg is the VP of Healthcare Practitioner Sales with Chromadex, and we've had him on this talk before to talk trends. Welcome, Greg.
Well, thank you both. Thank you, Todd. Thank you,
Hey,
Maggie,
Greg,
for having me back on. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. Today, this is part of our series of leaders in the natural products industry. So in the July print and digital issues of Whole Foods Magazine, we're shining a spotlight on leaders throughout the natural products industry. And Greg from Chromadex is featured. And so today we're happy to be talking to you to kind of dig in a little deeper about your leadership style and what makes you tick. So people can check out the print issue for that. And today we're going to dive a little deeper. And I want to start by talking about what brought you to the natural products industry.
So what really helped gravitate me towards the industry in general was initially having a very high level of skepticism about the efficacy of the products from someone that was approaching this from more of a medical side, a pharmaceutical side of things. I did not believe that there was any level of efficacy behind products in the functional food, functional ingredient, functional medicine space at all. And then after trying several different products within the space and seeing the results in very short terms, I became really very much hooked by what these products were able to do without any of the side effects of the pharmaceutical drugs and conventional medicine. So by virtue of that alone, I became someone that was a huge advocate and believer in these products. And to this very day, I probably take about 40 pills a day, supplement pills a day, and have done that religiously for the past 22 years. I've been in this industry right now. So I started in the industry when I was 1.
Yeah, that's great. It's interesting because you hear that's not uncommon for our industry to have people come in either because of a personal, reason. I love the fact that yours is more coming from a standpoint of skepticism and really proving it to yourself. I'm curious then, as you go forward and now you're out in the world, and as we already know, you're networking with everyone. How does that inform how you go about your business? The fact that this was really personal for you.
So what it's created was a level of conviction about what I do. And in everyday life, and people that I approach, either be it in the worlds of sports nutrition, the athletes that I engage with, friends that are dealing with a variety of different issues within their own everyday lives, be it for their children, for themselves, for friends, and could be even for their pets. Making recommendations of things that can help to improve their lives. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, is trying to improve people's lives. And provide them the education, provide them the collateral, provide them the assets, and looking for those opportunities where you can build that awareness. And if you have a level of conviction about what it is that you're doing and that you're committed to helping that common cause overall, I think that will resonate with people, and people will read into that you believe it and that you really and truly are behind what it is that you're promoting. And I take a very collaborative approach with people to educate them, and it somehow segues in every single conversation that I have to the world of supplementation and where there's benefits, because let's face it, there's benefits for everyone.
And also, one of the great things about Chromadex is it's a very science-forward company, and everything the website is chock full of science that you can go and take the deeper dive. You're feeling it. You can also see that support.
Absolutely. Very research-driven. We're often asked what separates us from the other NAD precursors that are on the market, and it's the science. It's the overall efficacy. It's the fact that it's a product line that is steeped in science and research that's going on an everyday, very, very frequent basis. So as we look at protocols and areas that we could focus upon, those grow and expand on a very, very frequent basis. Now, as well as we've added our immune product, which there's been a lot of interest in, and that we're gaining a tremendous amount of traction around. So really, the companies that I've been involved with in the past and during my time with Chromadex have been steeped in science and have been able to, build their reputations on a strong scientific advisory board and a network that will build that awareness and advocacy around those products.
Yeah, that's really great. You mentioned a little bit before about collaboration, and I know that's a huge part of how you run things, how you lead things in your career. And I wonder if you could just step out a little bit and talk about that with teams that you've worked with, or maybe it's even customers that you service. Can you talk about that collaborative nature of leadership and how you approach things?
Yes. When I approach a relationship with a healthcare practitioner or with a sports team, someone that specializes in the area of sports nutrition, this is not about just selling them a product. This is about collaboration. This is about finding and creating a true win-win. How is this going to benefit, if you're an HCP, your patients? How is this going to benefit you as a healthcare practitioner monetarily? How is this, if you're a sports team that's taking the product, how is this going to benefit the players that you're recommending this to? And ultimately, where is this going to fit into the portfolio of products that are being recommended by your staff and by yourself on a daily basis? The tools that are needed to be able to get you to that place where you feel confident to recommend that product and make sure that there's effective and very strong collateral to do that. And if I don't have the answer, to be able to fall back on members of our advisory board or those brilliant doctors like Chris Miletus or a John Salerno or others that can help us to get those answers and help to speak peer-to-peer with that HCP. For a sports team, someone like a Paul O'Neill who could speak to existing players and speak to praises of what this product is able to do and how the New York Yankees can benefit from it, and other major league teams, along with the other fine brand ambassadors that we have in the areas of sports nutrition.
I want to touch on that a little because, like Todd was saying, I kind of see you as a super connector. But you're bringing out these other people and they're trying the products and then they're having success and they're spreading the word, which seems like a great leadership skill to have, to get other people to be on board and sing the phrases. So can you just talk kind of about the brand ambassador program that you have going on and how that kind of runs and I mean, it seems like it's super successful to me.
Yes. So strategically, what we've attempted to do in terms of building brand ambassador relationships is to utilize athletes that are very well regarded in specific sports that are respected and have obviously also squeaky clean reputations in their respective sports, that have the ability to speak to their peers on a peer-to-peer level, to disseminate the benefits of utilizing that product specifically, and then for us to look at other sports and areas that we can focus on that will allow us to build awareness. So right now, MLB, within the NFL, we have teams that are using the products currently, and then we will be looking to expand to the NBA and brand ambassadors that are within that space, and then have it expand to other sports, NHL, golf. We have someone that was actually at the conference in Florida that was also attending the What's Up with Sups event, another event that I'm very fond of, by the way.
Yeah.
We all are.
That we are looking to work closely with Chris Algieri, who will help us to crack the code, if you will, in UFC and boxing. Mm-hmm. So collaborating and building these relationships where they can speak to someone, where I may speak to an individual that is a high-level athlete or professional and speak the praises of the product and the benefits of it. But on a peer-to-peer level, that's a whole different relationship. And if it's an athlete that's somewhat recently retired, it's going to resonate even more, especially if he was at the top of his game. So that's really where it comes from in many instances. That's
great. Well, as we're going to call you from now on Super Connector, I just want to say that at the ISSN event, the What's Up with Subs party, I'm glad to hear you were making all these connections. I was hitting the meatball table, by the way, because they had fantastic Italian food there. But I'm glad you were making it happen. And I'm curious, when you do that, as you expand your universe of players that you work with, and going back again to how you got into the industry and being skeptical, what's that conversation? Because really, and I don't mean to try to force this back to leadership, I'm really wondering, you're a leading voice to all of these athletes who, most of them supplement, most of them, from my experience, don't have a good idea going in terms of what's safe, what's not, what to look for, what's not. So you really have a lot of power as a leader in the industry to spread the word and affect change there. I'm just wondering if you could get into some of those conversations you've had with people. What have you said to athletes when they're like, does this stuff really work? Or how do I know it's safe? Any advice there as other people are looking to look at or work with influencers?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the first things is with athletes is it's important to have a dossier of clinical and data. Mm-hmm. That conversation, as opposed to a team nutritionist, is going to be very different, because you're going to want to keep it on the surface in terms of very general information of how that product is going to benefit them, but they're not going to want to deep dive into the science as much as the team's nutritionist might, or the team's strength and endurance trainer might. So you're going to want to get into specific information as it relates to what the product can do. And in many instances, let them try the product. Give them a week to try the product and see what kind of results that they're having. And if they come back and they have favorable results, which I'm extremely confident that they will, and if in fact that is the case, then you've now have someone that's a loyal user for life.
Yeah.
And
the influence they have, right? Like some of these people you're dealing with have millions of followers. And so really what you're telling them can possibly cascade throughout the industry and throughout, sports fans, consumers.
That's right. That's right. And, it's interesting. We have, there's an event coming up here shortly. And this is public knowledge, so I can talk about it. But David Cohn has a charity that he takes part in. And I read a couple of days ago that he's having knee and hip replacement surgery. So we're going to send him some True Niagen. He's not going to be playing golf, but he is going to be attending the event, and he's going to be having surgery shortly thereafter. But my sense is he's going to see some benefit from the product post-op and potentially pre-op. That's not a claim. What that is basically saying that from my standpoint, I think that there will be some benefits for him. David Cohn being an iconic former player, a national announcer for ESPN, and also a color analyst for the Yes Network with Paul O'Neill. So, the way I go about supporting the overall efficacy is having someone try the product, seeing the results, very soft sell. My approach is always collaborative. It's not pressing too hard to get a sale from someone. It's, again, trying to build a win-win. What can we do to build a win-win long-term together so that they continue to want to use the product?
Yeah.
That's excellent. I want to go back for a minute to What's Up with Subs, because we had Diana on the podcast when What's Up with Subs was new, and we were talking about it being, a party with a purpose. And yes, if you've had a long day at a show, maybe you're just hanging out at the meatball table and you just need to unwind. You can also really work these events, which I imagine you do. Any strategies for events like that, obviously that's a tool in your toolbox if you can navigate an event like that. Any tips, success secrets on working these industry events?
Well, first of all, I love Diana and I love Lauren, who have put on some amazing events, and I look forward to supporting these on a broader scale going forward. I haven't missed very many. In fact, you may have seen me working the door at some. But in terms of a strategy for me, again, I try not to be overly intrusive. You will notice that I tend to overdress. So I'm usually the guy with the jacket on when everyone else may have the polo. And
I was wearing shorts and Vans, by the way.
There you go.
If you want to contrast, you know.
Yeah, so I was the guy with the seersucker jacket on.
Very dapper. Yeah.
Thank you. But I let it happen organically, where people will approach me. There'll be a few that I will approach, but it just seems to happen organically. And if you've built a good reputation in this industry, you don't have to worry about trying to oversell people or being overly intrusive. So that's always been my approach. It's worked well for me. And the events have been great because there's been many opportunities to just work the room without really trying very hard to do so.
Yeah,
I love
I've been doing it for over 20 years.
yeah. Anybody who hasn't been to an event, they're really happening at pretty much every show at this point. So check it out. We always talk about them on Whole Foods Magazine and help spread the word. If you haven't been, I recommend it.
Yeah. I love the level of trust that your approach, I think is perfect. You know, I use the same sort of approach just because there's no way I could ever like walk up to a booth and actively sell something and feel comfortable doing that. So it really has fallen into more of a, establishing relationships in the industry, mostly friendships, and then people come back around and, they think of you when they need it. And it just seems to work that way. But what I'd say about that approach you take is you're stepping into this sales relationship with a high level of trust already, because you're not pushing and if you can be collaborative and, offer solutions, not in a pushy way, you already have that trust factor. And that's huge, as opposed to someone telling you what you need all the time and you're never sure if you really need it.
Right. Yeah, because I think we all get our guard up when people are overly aggressive at a show or conference or, just trying to pull you in. And, you can do that in a very subtle way without turning someone off, because we've all encountered it. And with the salespeople that work for me and work with me within the Chromadex team, I've always said to them, and they know this, and it's been my approach to management, is there's nothing I've ever asked someone to do that I haven't done 1,000 times myself before. Pre-COVID, one of the things I had the most fun with was going out with a sales rep or on my own in the field and calling on accounts and, helping to lead the call. And I still enjoy those types of things. So with our existing team, when the opportunity is there and presents itself, if they're having trouble reaching a doctor or reaching the staff or whatever the decision maker may be, getting involved directly in that exercise and that process is something that I enjoy. And that's where, being a good leader is letting people know and understand that you've done it yourself and you're willing to get down in the trenches and do it again for as many times as it may take for the company to be successful and for them to be successful.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, let's, we're coming close to time, but I want to just ask you if you have any words of wisdom or call to action or caution, anything you want to say or praise just for the industry in general, any message for us?
I think the industry has responded well during a very challenging time as we were all virtual for over 2 years. We are rallying back. I mean, it was incredibly difficult. And we talked about on our last call how I went about pivoting to more of a virtual model with doing a lot of education, a lot of podcasts and webinars and other forms of virtual education. We came out of that really, really well. So I commend those companies and my peers in the industry that have figured out how to pivot. Certainly, we're seeing lower level numbers at the conferences. It's starting to come back, but it's not at the level that it was. But everyone understands, and the beauty of this industry is we all work together. It's one of the few industries in the world where you'll see someone that's the next booth over that when they're done breaking down, they'll help you break down your booth. And if someone's across the room that needs tape to seal up their box, they'll be the first one to come over and do that.
We've
I
all
mean,
been there.
we've all been there, and it's a very close-knit group. So my sense and my takeaway of this is one big family of all of us in this industry, and it's a very close-knit family. Everyone has, for the most part, respect for each other. Yeah, we compete with products, but at the end of the day, we all realize that we're in this together. And there's a great saying by Bruce Springsteen, who I'm a fan of, who I've met, and he often says, either everybody wins or nobody wins. And that's really the approach to the nutrition industry in general. And coming, I guess from a Jersey boy, I wouldn't be too surprised I'd be quoting Bruce, but that's the reality of things.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl, so I'm with you.
Yeah, so I'm sure you may have seen he popped up at Paul McCartney last week.
Did. Oh, man.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be back on the road soon, but that's my overall sense and take of this industry in general, and the wonderful relationships I've been able to forge. And I'm just excited about what the future has to hold, not only for the remainder of this year, but for years beyond, and how we'll continue to grow and come back after what was a very challenging time, over the pandemic.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So many great insights, inspiration, and some handy tips as well that we will take into our future. So thank you, Greg, again for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. Look forward to chatting with you both again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. Bye now.
Bye now.